Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Q News with me, Henny Saif, and let's take a look at the top stories making the headlines today. Egypt has dispatched its 22nd humanitarian aid convoy to Gaza, including 3 fuel trucks and essential supplies such as food, medical items and hygiene products. The convoy, part of the Zed al-Izza Provision of Honor from Egypt to Gaza initiative, crossed from Rafah and awaits Israeli inspection at the Karm Abu Salim crossing before entering Gaza. This aid comes as Gaza faces its first ever recorded famine due to the ongoing Israeli blockade and conflict. The Egyptian Red Crescent continues coordinating relief efforts at the border. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has addressed the extraordinary session of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in Jeddah, condemning Israel's systematic violations and escalation in Gaza, including collective punishment and obstruction of aid. Abdulati underscored Egypt's pivotal humanitarian role, providing 70% of Gaza's aid and treating thousands of Palestinians. The Egyptian foreign minister demanded Israel allow unrestricted aid entry and held it fully responsible for the ongoing crisis and rejection of ceasefire efforts. He denounced Israeli expansion in the West Bank, violating international law and jeopardizing the two-state solution. Emphasizing Egypt's unwavering support for Palestinian rights and statehood, he welcomed new recognitions of Palestine and urged more countries to follow. Egypt firmly rejects forced displacement and any policies undermining Palestinian self-determination. Saudi Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan has declared Israel's actions the gravest threat to regional peace, firmly rejecting any military control or forced displacement in Gaza. Speaking at the Organization of Qatari ceasefire efforts, emphasizing that Palestinian statehood is an inalienable right. He condemned Israel's unprecedented assault on Gaza, its blatant defiance of international law and deliberate obstruction of humanitarian aid. Faisal called for urgent international intervention to halt Israeli crimes and highlighted Saudi efforts to unify Islamic stances against these violations. The OIC stressed that the Palestinian cause remains central, holding Israel fully responsible for the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza. Palestine's UN representative Riyad Mansour has reaffirmed the inalienable right to establish an independent Palestinian state, condemning Israel's military control over Gaza and its obstruction of Palestinian statehood. He denounced Israel's illegal settlement expansion and called for intensified regional efforts to halt Israeli violations. Highlighting the use of starvation as a weapon of war, he urged accountability for Israel's crimes in Gaza. Mansour emphasized Palestine's readiness to collaborate with all parties to resolve the Gaza crisis and rejected Netanyahu's rhetoric on Greater Israel. His remarks underscored the urgent need for justice and peace, delivered during the Organization of Islamic Cooperation's emergency meeting, addressing the escalating humanitarian and political situation in Gaza. Israeli strikes on Nasser Hospital in Qnews, Gaza, killed at least 15 people, including five journalists and a rescue worker. Among the dead was Hussam al-Masri, a Reuters cameraman. Another Reuters contractor, photographer Hatem Khalid, was injured in a second strike that hit after first responders and journalists arrived at the scene. Reuters confirmed the casualties and called for urgent medical aid for Khalid. The Israeli military confirmed a strike in the area and said an inquiry had been ordered. The Palestinian Journalists Syndicate condemned the attack, saying over 240 journalists have been killed in Gaza since October 2023. This concludes our top stories for this hour. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more updates here on Q News.